Decoupled Drupal. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Preston So. He is Director of Research and Innovation at Acquia. Welcome, Preston.
Hi, Tonya. How are you doing today?
Great. Well, it's actually great finally meeting you in person at the Aqua Engage event in Austin last November. How do you feel like the event went?
I thought it was a really amazing event. I think one of the big reasons why we wanted to move out of Boston was to really reach a different audience and get into some of the parts of the US where a lot of our customers are located, but we've had a lot of hard time getting them to come to Boston because of all the snow and the cold up there. But the biggest takeaway, I think, really from the sort of the conference and how all the sessions went is there's a lot of excitement about the customer journey and how we as builders, how we as marketers, and how we as business people can help our customers have better experiences by giving them the ability to have a really optimized journey end to end, have us touch them every single step of the way, and give them a personalized experience that they really want.
Remind our audience, if you will, what Acquia is and what the company does.
Sure. Acquia is, we like to call ourselves the open source digital experience company. And what that really entails is several things. We help organizations build, operate, and optimize their digital experiences, whether that involves websites or mobile experiences or e-commerce sites, what have you. And all around that kind of core of responsibilities, we actually provide a lot of different products. So things like personalization, content synchronization, as well as other products, including our main cloud hosting flagship product that just has, as of last year, Node.js support as well for those who are using JavaScript. And we also do a lot of work around customer journey management as well. So allowing for marketers to go in and decide, well, what happens next when someone clicks on that link in that email newsletter? What happens next when they click on that ad on the website? And how can I control that and have better ability to see what my users are doing and also give them the experiences that they're looking for?
There were a lot of interesting customer stories shared at the event. In fact, you're publishing a book on taking customer experience to the next level called Decoupled Drupal in Practice.
That's right.
You write the book?
Sure. The book really was a labor of love. One of the things I noticed is that over the last year or two, I've really done a lot of speaking to a lot of different kinds of audiences, very diverse audiences, business audiences, marketer audiences, even youth audiences, and primarily developer audiences, about why it is that there's still this disconnect between the customer experiences that we know our bosses want and the experiences that we actually build. Why is there still this difference? And a lot of it comes down to technology. One of the really good things about Drupal is that over the last 4 or 5 years, Drupal has had a really big focus, not solely on enabling and providing really optimal solutions for websites and the web in general, but also for other experiences like conversational experiences, AR/VR experiences, IoT applications. And so this book is really meant to be that guide for developers. It's the first ever book, first ever comprehensive guide to how you can, as a developer, actually build these solutions and engineer experiences that actually adhere to a lot of the desires and specifications that a lot of our customers and users have today.
At a technical level, why is Drupal such an important element in the customer experience technology?
Sure. Drupal is really meant to fulfill several responsibilities in the way that I would call, this kind of customer experience management process, which is that, as a DXP, as a digital experience platform, Drupal is really good at, number one, housing and storing content and data for various users, whether that's user-generated or whether that's something that comes from an editorial staff. But it's also really good at helping developers have a very strong understanding of the structure and the modeling of that content. So now we can arbitrarily create different types of content, different types of data that really are part of a list of infinite possibilities in terms of what that data represents. And this is the reason why a lot of organizations today, especially in the enterprise landscape and in media and publishing, like here in New York, are using Drupal because it centralizes all of their data. It allows for all of that data to be concentrated into a single focal point. And then with that single source of data, you can then serve it to any other experience that you can have in mind, like digital signage, like interactive kiosks, in-flight entertainment systems, and the like. And so this book is really important because it really illustrates the fact that Drupal is no longer just for websites. It's really meant to be it's really meant to be a system that you can use for a variety of different applications and a variety of different digital ecosystems and experiences you have in mind, regardless of where that's located. And so with this book, I think one of the biggest challenges was, how do we get from, well, everyone's interested in these ideas and everyone wants to build these kinds of experiences. How do we enable developers to actually do that now? And that's really the goal of the book, and also the goal of Drupal today, in terms of helping those developers succeed.
How do you merge technology, data, and the customer to make a great customer experience?
That's a really good question. Well, one of the things that Acquia just published was the inaugural Customer Experience Trends Report. And this report really illustrates a lot of the challenges that customer experiences face around the world. One of the things that I found most interesting, actually, was that whereas people here in the US have really high expectations when it comes to their brand and how they experience their brands, actually the level of dissatisfaction in the US is lower than in other countries and other cultures. And so that illustrates that maybe there is a little bit of that cultural knowledge that we need as well. But I think one of the things that, one of the biggest data points that I felt was really interesting from this report was the fact that nearly half of the respondents of these customer experiences actually said that these brands aren't really giving them a good experience that meets their expectations. And a full two-thirds of these respondents also said that they can't remember the last time a brand exceeded their expectations. And we know today, you and I, Tonya, that people are looking for flashy experiences. People are looking for different ways to engage with their brand or with their, with their shops that they go to and with the restaurants that they frequent. They're looking for experiences that are much more not only adhere to their personal tastes, but also things that will give them that rich experience that a website can't provide. And so this is how it all ties together. When you ask about data, technology, and the customer experience, how do we harness all of those things into a way that makes sense and also keeps on meeting those expectations of those users? The answer really lies in enabling different experiences that go beyond the web. Let's say you want to build an iOS application on mobile, or you want to build an Android application on a different device, or you want to also do something related to Raspberry Pi or near-field communications. That's actually a really important area, but it's an area that historically a lot of these content management systems or a lot of these data handling systems have been very weak at. With the advent of Decoupled Drupal, which is outlined very comprehensively in my 500-page book, by the way, this really helps developers kind of realize the potential of how they can improve these customer experiences and how they can actually really wow these users in a way that's very different from the ways in which we've wowed these users in the past. We can't simply put up a banner on a website. We can't simply put up an animation or a video on a website anymore. That's no longer enough. And how do we take that to the next level? I think you see a lot of examples of that today with a lot of media organizations and a lot of periodicals, especially, really adopting things like situational content or augmented reality to offer their users a much more rich experience. It's not enough to have a website anymore. And I think those who are looking at just kind of that initial step of having a website, well, definitely keep in mind there are all of these other channels out there as well.
Preston So, Director of Research and Innovation at Acquia. If somebody wants to pick up a copy of your book, Decoupled Drupal, or maybe they want the trends report that you guys published, how can they do that?
Sure. Well, one way to get the book is to go to my short link, tiny.cc/decoupled-in-practice. And you can get a copy of the book right there. It actually just went to the print shop a couple weeks ago, so it's ready to go. If you're interested in the customer experience trends report, I recommend you go to acquia.com. We've got a whole lot of resources there that are not just about this report, but also about other things and other technologies that you might be interested in. And finally, if you want to get a hold of me personally, you can do that at preston.so@acquia.com, or you can also find me on Twitter at Preston So.
Thanks again, Preston. And if you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to tonyahall.net. I've got links to all my social sites. Thanks for watching.